Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Ryan with Michigan Storm Chasers. We have some interesting developments that are taking shape here over the past 12 or so hours. So, we're going to go over a few different things here. We talked yesterday, if you missed our live stream, about potential for some thunderstorms tonight. And we're becoming a little bit more concerned in the way that we're going to probably see thunderstorms on the west side of the state for sure. But I think we need to start mentioning the possibility of a stronger storm as well being a possibility. We'll go over the exact areas here. It's a very small portion here in Michigan, but I think that those people over in that part of the state should be a little bit not concerned, but just a little bit on alert tonight, just in case something were to happen. I think the main threat for this is going to be mainly in the form of hail. I don't think it's going to be any wind or tornadoes with this, but we'll go ahead and dive into things and kind of look at everything. But first and foremost, your temperatures across the state are right now, as you see on your screen here, looking across the state, we have mid 50s, upper 50s, all the way across. You have Lansing at 53, Kalamazoo at 55, Benton Harbor 55, Ann Arbor still a bit cooler over here on the east side in the 40s, mid 40s over towards Detroit at 50. So overall throughout the state, we're seeing those 50-degree plus temperatures. Now, if we go ahead and switch over here to our model, looking at the main temperatures today, go ahead and switch over here to the HRRR model. This is your temperature graph here. We're going to zoom out here for a Michigan look, and we're going to go ahead and highlight this through the day. Let it load up here. We're going to look at these temperatures. We're going to pause it. Actually, go back to the 4th hour here, right there. Come on, load it. There you go. Taking a look at these temperatures, we have right around 60 degrees going to be the high across the southern parts of the state, from Flint to Mount Pleasant to Lansing, all the way back toward Kalamazoo. 60 degrees is going to be a possibility today. But what that's also going to do is it's going to build some amount of moisture and also some amount of instability into the state to get some thunderstorms tonight. So looking at our concerned areas right now, again, looking at our severe weather outlook, we do see that marginal risk is sitting just off to our west. This is a cutoff point right over here, just offshore of Lake Michigan. You see this line right here, right across Lake Michigan. That is your cutoff point for severe weather. It's only about 15 miles away from the shore of Berrien County there, so keep that in mind. But also, the thunderstorm risk that we were talking about has been extended into the eastern part of Michigan. It now runs through Hillsdale County, up through Jackson, through Washtenaw County, up towards Flint, up to the Thumb, and areas north. Then also the western UP was trimmed from that thunderstorm risk. This is a thunderstorm risk, not a severe risk, okay? There's a difference there. The severe risk right now from the SPC is just off to the west. But let's go ahead and take a peek at the future forecast model. I want to highlight this very well for you guys. Now we go ahead and switch over here. This is our temperature. We're going to switch over here to our composite radar, and this is going to be the future radar, what it could look like. We'll go ahead and take the SPC risks off the screen here to make it a little bit more easier to see. There we go. We're going to go ahead and animate this, and we're going to watch these storms develop over Illinois. This is going to be right there. This is going to be 6 to 7 p.m. tonight. We see these storms over Illinois. That is where your main severe risk is, but watch what happens here. We do see some scattered showers throughout Michigan right around that 6, 7 p.m. time frame or so. But if we go ahead and animate this further, we see these storms start to cross Lake Michigan, and they're going to reach the west shore of Michigan. This model says 9 p.m. tonight. We see areas Grand Haven, Holland. We see Allegan County, South Haven. All these little individual cells are going to be pushing onshore here in West Michigan right around that 9 p.m. time frame. Again, this isn't exact. It's going to be around that time frame. It could be 10. It could be 8. These things are never really exact. But right around that 9 p.m. time frame, we start getting a little bit more concerned for a stronger storm or two in terms of this arrival time on the west part of Michigan there. We go ahead and animate this a little bit further. Let's go ahead and zoom out here and take it one more hour forward to 10 p.m. We see these storms start to kind of weaken a little bit as they come on shore. Now, that's going to be expected, but we could still see some more of the lightning and a stronger storm or two within this line of storms. Now, again, up toward Mount Pleasant, Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Holland. Now, we even see some cells down here by Kalamazoo. We don't see anything here in the middle there, but again, these models are never really exact. So just in general, we see anywhere from about Mount Pleasant over to the lakeshore of Michigan and areas south, right along the US 131 corridor, we're kind of thinking has that best chance to get a stronger storm or two. Again, not expecting widespread I'm not going to say widespread strong. I think one or two storms is going to be potentially strong, and maybe one or two could reach the severe limits. Now, what are we talking in terms of our ingredients here? We take a peek at our instability product for one. Now, we talk about instability a lot, and it's really important for storm development and storm stabilization and sustainability. But for one thing that we really need to watch is how far east our surface instability goes. Now, this model is becoming a little bit more concerning. It's kind of pushing in this instability further east here. Now, we pause it right here at 3 in the morning here. We see all this green. This is your surface-based instability. Now, we usually want to see over 500 of this just for sustainable storms here in the like fall and spring times, even in the winter times here. We start seeing these numbers right around 600 joules per kilogram here on the surface of Cape. Now, that may be, I'm not going to say it will be, but that may be sufficient to sustain some of these storms a little bit further to the east. But the further east you go, the less dynamical or less dynamics are working in favor of it. We have what we call a surface inversion that's going to limit these storms to be surface based. So it's going to have to kind of watch that closely tonight. This is 3 a.m. in the morning here. We see a good amount of instability here, anywhere from Grand Rapids to Lansing to south to Kalamazoo. We go ahead and zoom this forward a bit further. 4 a.m. We see it kind of shift east here toward Jackson, towards the Detroit area. And that's where the model stops. So we're going to have to watch that closely. Again, this is just an idea of what could happen here with the surface instability here. How far east it actually gets is yet to be yet to be answered, but it is a concern that we could see some storms kind of try to make it a little bit further east than what we're kind of thinking right now. But overall tonight, I'd say be on alert if you are living in Grand Rapids and areas south. We'll go ahead and say Muskegon as well. If you know where US 10 is up by Fremont, and then over to US 131 in the area south to the border of Indiana, that's going to be your best chance for a stronger storm tonight. And again, not going to rule out severe weather, but it's definitely going to be a low chance of that. Not expecting widespread, but if anything does happen strong to severe wise, we will be live regardless if it's 10 at night or 3 in the morning. We're going to be live here on Facebook covering it if it needs to be covered. In terms of threats tonight, the main concern for right now is going to be hail. However, I'm not going to rule out the possibility of a stronger wind gust. Now, in terms of tornadoes, I don't think we're going to have that concern at all in the state tonight. There is a good amount of shear, but my concern with that would be the surface inversion is going to work to limit these storms to become surface based. So I think they're going to be more so elevated type, which are going to be the ones that don't really produce tornadoes. If we can get more instability on the surface and these storms become rooted in the surface, then that becomes a concern. But for right now, that is not a concern. So hail is going to be your primary threat. Wind is a secondary threat. And again, if any tornadoes are going to happen, they're probably going to happen out in Illinois. They're not going to happen here in Michigan. But again, this is weather. Things can change. I don't want to completely rule it out, but right now it's going to be a hail primarily, followed by wind, and then a very, very low chance that we're going to see something with rotation. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does happen, we will be covering it. So no worries with that. With that being said, I believe I answered everything in terms of today's today's storm threat. The overall risk, go ahead and take this back onto the categorical outlook here. So there is your risk in terms of your thunder and severe risk. And we see again this line here all the way from South Bend all the way up in toward the Flint, up through the Thumb area, all the way up into the north area. And we see that severe risk out in Illinois as highlighted in a little bit darker green there. That's going to be your threat over here for more so of your tornadoes, your larger hail, and then also your gusty damaging winds. One of our partner chasers, Ben, is actually en route to Illinois. So we may actually go live a little bit later on. Not really sure yet, but if you guys want to watch an Illinois chase, we might be live on YouTube. So we'll let you guys know if you guys are interested. We might be doing that as well. Not really sure yet, depending on how it develops out there. But we'll be watching those storms closely because those are the storms that are going to impact Michigan later on tonight. Current temperatures and dew points. Yes, let me go ahead and switch over to that, Drew. Current temperatures and dew points. Let me go ahead and hop this off, toggle that off, and we'll take a peek at the, go ahead and switch this out to the radar. There we go. So your current temperatures across the state, right in the mid 50s there. For you, Drew, up by Mount Pleasant, you're looking at 49 degrees technically there. And then areas south here, you have 45 up in Port Austin. I'm looking at 47 there in the Thumb, 48 over by Port Huron, 53 right now in Detroit, 51 Ann Arbor, 52 Hillsdale, 56 Adrian. Looking at mid 50s. We're going to make a run at 60 here across the state for sure. As far as dew points go, let's go ahead and take a peek at those. These are important when it comes to how much instability we can get. The combination of temperature and dew point, that's kind of how we measure the amount of instability here on the surface. So that's a good tool to use here. Go ahead and look at our dew points. You're in the mid 30s right now there, Drew. Across the state there, we see some low 30s, but mainly mid 30s here across southern portions of the state. Looking at Illinois, though, we're already in the 40s out there, so those are going to be rising through the day. Any other questions? Go ahead and ask your questions. I'll go ahead and do my best to answer those. What's up, Chris? No, Genesee County is currently outside. Actually, no, Genesee County is in this thunderstorm risk. Not expecting anything strong or severe over there at all. I keep thinking Genesee County is further south toward like the Detroit, like this county right here. But no, it's I'm sorry, it's up there in Flint. I keep forgetting that Genesee County is Flint. I need to make a mental note of that. How are we looking west of Mount Pleasant tonight? I'd be a little bit more concerned for a stronger storm up there for sure, although it's a low chance, but you're in that zone. You're right kind of borderline on that zone of better instability we were talking about. So be prepared up there for sure. Again, not going to be a widespread threat here. It's going to be probably a one or two type of storm. Might be strong, one might become severe. But again, it's going to be a chance we're going to be watching. It's a chance, and the chance is just that. It's a possibility, never a guarantee. So keep that in mind. Just because we're talking about it, we hope it doesn't happen. But if it does happen, we want you guys to be prepared. So if you're over here, I know there's a lot of people asking for the Detroit metro area. I'm seeing a lot of Warren questions, Macomb County, Monroe County. So if you're over here in the Detroit metro area, if you're outside this zone here, we're not too concerned as far as severe weather or even strong storms go. There's probably going to be some rain there. And if instability can make its way further east, the possibility is definitely there for some thunderstorms. But overall, the strong storm threat, if there's going to be any strong storms, are going to be over on the west side of the state. That's our current thinking. So if you're over here in Detroit metro area, all the way from Adrian, Ann Arbor, Detroit, up through Macomb County, up toward Port Huron, you guys are not in a threat tonight at all. Not even for thunderstorms, according to the SPC, but I do think you might have a chance at that, especially if the instability here does work its way further east like this model is showing. Let's see here. Montcalm County, yeah, you guys are in that threat up there. You're going to be pretty much right on that borderline. Again, the 131 corridor in US 10 is going to be the kind of cutoff point for how far north and how far east we think the stronger storms are going to be. Again, if we're looking back at our model here, I'll go ahead and take back this model really quickly here and show you how that looks. We see right around the 9 p.m. time frame, we start seeing the strongest storms start heading towards the area, right? Go ahead and let it load up. Oh, the new model's loading. Let's go back one. Okay, there we go. See the storms over here in Illinois, they start crossing the lake here. And by 9 p.m., there you go. So Montcalm County, you guys are right over here. And this is just off to your west heading your way at 9 p.m., according to this model. So keep that in mind. You guys are right there on that borderline north-south line we have. But overall, 10 p.m. arrival time for Montcalm County, according to this model. And I'd say you do have a threat for some hail and potentially for some winds as well. Projected storm winds and hail size. Hail size, again, this is not going to be a major. If anything's going to happen, it's going to be probably borderline severe, 1-inch hail, quarter size hail, and up to 60 miles per hour on your winds. These are going to be moving pretty quickly as well, 40 to 50 miles per hour, east to north, or west to east, with maybe a slight northward movement to it. Yes, the Ohio, Indiana, Michigan border, the further south you go, the better the instability is. So there is definitely a threat there down there by Kalamazoo towards the Indiana border. Not much more toward the Ohio border, but if you're in closer to that Indiana border here by Sturgis or Edwardsburg or Niles, New Buffalo, those areas, definitely in the concern tonight for a stronger storm. SPC has already updated their outlook about 30 minutes ago, so no need to worry about that. They're going to update again at 3 p.m. So if they're going to make any changes to anything, it's going to happen at 3 p.m. or they'll make a change at 8 p.m. tonight because the 8 p.m. outlook is something else that they do as well. So 3 or 8 p.m. would be any changes to this outlook. But again, that marginal risk is sitting just offshore here from Michigan. So it's definitely about 15 miles away from shore there. It's pretty crazy. Be our first severe risk in Michigan this year if this happens. So we'll have to kind of see what they do. Yeah, this is going to be later tonight. This is not a live radar. This is a modeled radar. This is for 10 p.m. tonight, according to this model. And definitely the Grand Rapids metro area does look to be in some heavy thunderstorms there right around that time frame. Coldwater, you definitely would be in that concern tonight for some storms as well. Again, stronger storms, I think, are going to be tied mainly to that US 131 corridor from Kalamazoo up to Grand Rapids, those areas in particular. We'll kind of see how that plays out. But overall, if we get instability further east, we could see that threat kind of shift further east. But right now, it's not very high confidence in that happening. It's definitely possible we could see an upgrade for some areas in West Michigan to a marginal risk. I would not be shocked at all, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they say, no, we're not really confident in that because there's not really a lot of confidence with this. We do have some good idea that we're going to have some storms impacting the area that are going to line up really good with instability, but overall severe threat is going to be low. So I would understand if they didn't do it because usually for these risks, you want to see more of like a widespread, severe type of thing for them to issue any type of risk. Be kind of curious what they do. I'm not sure what they'll do, but either way, I won't be shocked. I see a lot of people still asking for the east side of the state. So again, I'll cover this one more time. So if you guys are over here in the east side of the state from Port Huron to Sandusky, Brockway, Clinton Township, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Monroe, Adrian, Hillsdale, you guys are currently not in a risk for storms or strong storms. The SPC currently has your thunderstorm risk just off to your east. You see it highlighted here. I'll go ahead and draw it on the map here. This is your thunderstorm risk. And areas to the west of that are in a risk for some storms tonight. If you are east of this line, you are not in a storm threat tonight. I will say, if instability does work its way further east, we may see a rumble of thunder on the east side tonight. That's a possibility. But as far as strong storms go, they're going to be tied over here to the Grand Rapids metro area, right around here, up to Muskegon, Grand Rapids metro, down to Kalamazoo. This box right here has the best shot, and a little bit maybe outside this box as well. We'll go ahead and draw a secondary box. There we go. If you're in that box, that is your best area for some storms that are going to be strong tonight. Okay, if you are anywhere outside that box, your chance is much lower. The risk tonight is going to be mainly for hail and also for a secondary threat of winds, not expecting tornadoes. If there's going to be any type of tornadic activity, it's going to be over in Illinois. That's my current thinking. Not expecting that for Michigan. We have to see a lot more in the way of surface instability to get that going. I don't think we're going to have that tonight. We will have a map posted after we're done here. I just made a map before I hopped on here. It'll be posted on the page with areas that we think has the best chance. Again, we're going to think right along that 131 corridor from Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo. This area right here has the best shot at seeing a strong storm tonight. That's going to be the main area of focus. All right, guys, I've been on here about 20 minutes. Again, we'll be live if anything does happen tonight. So if you guys would like to watch or tune in, feel free to. If anything does happen, that is, we're not going to be guaranteed to go live. We'll go live if something catches our eye. We're going to start covering. We'll do that. But overall, your risk tonight is going to be for some stronger storms over on the west side. Definitely a possibility closer to that 9-10 p.m. time frame. And then depending on how far east the instability axis can get, We're going to have to kind of monitor how far east those storms can get. Not expecting them to go too far east, but definitely right along that 131 corridor is going to be the focus for tonight, for sure. From about Kalamazoo up toward Grand Rapids to Muskegon, this area right here has the best shot. And I'm not going to say if you live over here and say this town right here, you're close to that box, so definitely be aware. But your highest threat's going to be this way. You know what I mean? So if you're close to that box, just be on alert. That's all I'm going to say. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I got to get the forecast posted, get a map posted. So if you guys want more details, we'll have that up on our page shortly. But again, we'll be live if anything happens. We may go live on YouTube if you guys want to watch an Illinois storm chase today. I know our partner chaser, Ben, is going to be out there. We may be live for that. We'll have to kind of wait and see how that plays out. But if you guys are interested, we will post a link on our page if you guys want to tune in and watch Ben with his storm chase out there in Illinois. So with that being said, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you for watching, and hit that like button on your way out. Stay safe, guys.